Hello, everyone, and happy Friday, I suppose. I just want to make sure that this is actually bloody working because I have no idea. Oh, there we go. Yes, it does. It does. Yes, apologies. Yeah, I'm streamed in the very using a new what do you call it? I'm using a new software, so hopefully I'll be able to bring in your chats. Yes, I can. Fantastic. Elsie, thank you. Yeah, a proper conversation. And everyone else can see what I'm referring to when I answer your chat question. So, welcome. Happy Friday for those who are employed. I'm sure this is your favorite day of the week. As someone who's unemployed, i.e., me, it's just like, yeah, just another day. Just another day. What can I really say? I have nothing on my plate in terms of topics to talk about, but I thought we could talk about Trump's meme game or the ANC's Integrity Commission or this new thing where the ANC says, listen, BE is not really working. So if you want some, you need to pay us 3% of your total annual revenue. And that will go to a transformation fund. And that fund will be given to Black South Africans because, that's what we do in this country. So, in essence, the ANC's mafia has said instead of shaking you down for equity share in your business, now you can just pay us. Just pay us the protection fee, and then we will gladly just give you the status you'd require. Seems a little bit desperate, all of this. Seems really desperate. But I'm happy to chat about this as well. There's only 9 of you watching, so welcome all of you. Please do let me know what you have on your mind. I'm happy to answer any and every question going forward. And okay, there we go. We can actually see now people are coming in. Hello. I remember this. Yes, good afternoon from the Northern Hemisphere. What a terrible place to be at this time of year. Though September should still be nice. The winter there is just awful. In South Africa in spring right now, it's 28 degrees, and I'm getting 12 kilowatt hours on my solar panel. So I'm a very happy person. We upgraded our solar system. So I'm about 85% off grid now, and it's fantastic. Can't do that in England. You need a license, mate. You need a license. Here you don't. One of the many benefits of living in a shithole country. Is the volume too low? Do apologize. Is it better now? I don't know how to change it if the volume's too low. Um, 1 second. Yes, of course I have a battery. So I have 35 kilowatts. No, more. No, I got 35 kilowatts of storage, which in my house is about 15 hours of storage. So yeah, we do quite well. We really do quite well. Just want to see if I can actually change. Oh, so I'm finding my way through the streaming software, so it's a little bit complicated. Let me know if the volume is too low, everyone, please, and just ignore the screenshot on top there. This Roman Empire. That's my old artwork. This is Undercurrent, not Roman Empire podcast. So I apologize for that. Anyway, it's not really that. Why is it? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me just try fix. Let me just try fix my mic if it's too low. If it's too low, it shouldn't be. Um, trying to figure out where on it I should go. The volume is fine. Okay. Thank you. That's good to know. So please shoot some questions over. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind? I'm doing this today because people love the last live stream for some reason. I don't know why. They love talking to me. And secondly, I'm unemployed and have nothing ready to do. So I thought let me just come on here and chat to you, fine people. As Donald Trump says, there's fine people on both sides, but not in South Africa. There's normal people like us, and then there's commies. And commies, well, they're not really people, are they? So people are asking about my solar system. Did I test the efficiency over winter? So in summer, I get about with this new upgrade, I'm hoping to reach 80% efficiency. And in winter, I get about 55% efficiency. So yeah, so I tested it was just recently upgraded, so I haven't tested in winter yet. But in winter, under my old system, which was 20 kilowatts of battery and 25 panels, I got about 55 efficiency. In summer, with this new upgrade, I'm getting close to 85% efficiency. So I'm hoping that winter will also be like close to 65%. So that's great. One of 4040 is also unemployed. Excellent, but we're not the same. No, maybe we are. I don't know, but yeah, it's weird to be. When I say unemployed, like I'm not officially employed. I've got projects. I'm making my way through several things, but yeah, I don't have a job, and I haven't had a job prior to the chief of staff one. I never had a job before, except for like 2 years when I was 20. I worked for a law firm, but after that, I never had a job. Like I always did my own thing, successfully, or in some cases, very unsuccessfully. So this is the first time I don't have a job, and I'm not actively working on things. So that's why I'm saying I'm unemployed. Right, come on. Put in the questions, guys. Happy to answer everything. I actually want to talk about Donald Trump because um, he's posting memes all over the place. And I think it's great. Remember back when you were young, the thought was the government is like, it's professional, it's quiet, just gets the job done. There are ways that you talk to the people when you are in government. And Donald Trump just comes in and all he does is like make memes of his enemies. So there's a guy called Hakeem Jeffries. I don't know who he is, some Democrat, and they shut the government down because Democrats want to give healthcare to illegal aliens in America. And now, whenever Hakeem Jeffries is on an interview, Donald Trump takes the video and makes it look like he has a sombrero and a mustache to make it look Mexican, and then behind him is Donald Trump playing the ukulele that Mexican guitar instrument is. And this goes on for like 2 minutes, and people find it hilarious, which I do as well. But I just like the fact that you can be highly effective and you can have fun at the same time. It's a nice change from South Africa. In South Africa, all the politicians are like, oh, like the burden of governance is on my shoulders. And, the way we talk to each other and I mean, other than the fact that like when we say kill all the whites and take all the shit, right? But it's just like this like pseudo professionalism, and everyone's so weighed down by governing the country. Whereas Trump's like, nah, I can just make fun of people, right? While bombing Iran, while bombing Iran. I like that. I like that. Like it's all a day's work. Bomb Iran, put tariffs on India, and then make my enemies Mexicans. I just don't know why that should be frowned upon. I like that. I really, really do. Something else we can talk about, Pete Hegseth. So Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of Defense for Donald Trump. He's a former Marine or former soldier. So he gathered everyone, it's true, all the army top brass in the entire country came to one area, I don't know what, for a conversation. So everyone on Twitter was like, oh no, they're preparing for war, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. Actually, Pete Hegseth put them all in a room and said, listen, you're all dumb and fat, and that's going to change. So everyone, from the generals down to the lowest people, you're going to do your fitness tests every however many months, and you're all going to pass. If you don't pass, out of the army. And the fitness tests are going to be male standards tests. If women pass them, fantastic. If they don't, out. You know, I just don't understand why this should be seen as something weird or evil. Army is there to defend your country with their lives. Of course, you want standards, right? I mean, of course, you want these people to be like the best people possible to save you if your enemy attacks. It's just common sense. Like, I'm really glad he said in one of these speeches at this event, he says, what really gets me down is when I see a fat general in the halls of the Pentagon. Great. True. True. If we implement implemented that here in South Africa, we would have no generals. They're all obese land whales, all of them. I doubt they could even shoot a gun straight, let alone walk to their cars without aid. This is normal stuff. This is how human beings and soldiers have existed for hundreds of years. It's only in the past 40 years we were like, oh no, training furries must become soldiers as well, and they can be fat. No, 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 unacceptable. We need to make soldiers the elite fighting forces of the country. So Hicks is completely correct in this. And if you're a general and you're overweight, you don't deserve to be there. If you are a admiral and you can't do the basic fitness test for every soldier, you don't deserve to be there. Simple. Like it's really simple. And I approve of this. So yeah, so I look at what America's doing, like the energy of politics, the secretaries that they have from Kennedy to Hexeth to Scott Bessent. These are just like top guys who know they have power and they're just executing on things that they promised to do. And it's must be such a wonderful feeling. It reminds me of the time. Actually, my father spoke to me about this in the 90s when the economy was booming, post 94 till about 2009. Yeah, you had 5% growth, you had all sorts of things, the World Cups were happening. And my father told me the other day, it's like, that period of time like defined the ability of people to make money, right? So a lot of people who I know who are in the 60s now who made money in that 10, 12-year period of South African history are now extremely wealthy, very well off. But to replicate that is impossible. When I joined the working force in 2006, 2007, I only got a job, a real job, in 2009, 2010. So that by then, the economy was already tanking. So I don't know what it feels like to work in a growing economy. And I'm sure most of you do not either. And that actually makes me a little bit sad because you can have the best ideas in the world, you can work hard, but if the economy is not growing, people don't have money, like people just not going to use your stuff, right? I mean, of course, I'm not saying that you need, anyway. So yeah, look at America and the energy and what's going on there. I'm like, I want some of that for South Africa. I really do. Irrespective of what you think of Trump and his policies, like there's just an energy to it that must be very intoxicating. If I was American, I would be, I would be very happy with this sort of energy. Excuse me. I do have a lot of hay fever today, so I apologize if I cough and I splutter around and my voice sounds funny. But it always sounds funny though. So anyway, enough of me talking nonsense. Let's see what you fine people want to tell me today. Um, oh, I actually missed. Oh, I do apologize, George. I missed a super chat. Thank you so much, George Steinberg. I do appreciate it. Please do post questions if you have a super chat, if you really want to. I mean, you can give me a super chat, but without a question, it makes it like just free money for no reason. But George, thank you. I appreciate it. It's not showing up on my streaming software, but it's showing up on YouTube. So I need to go in between the two. Right. So core React, of course, they start with love your content. Thank you. You don't. I don't know why this is so huge. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to close this. If I had to vote for the strongest leader, not party, number wise, where would your vote go? I think it depends. Strongest versus best leader. Those are two separate things. The best leader in South Africa is Corne Mulder. I think he's smart. I think he's strategic. I think he understands things. He has oodles of experience. I really like Dr. Corne Mulder. Is he strong though? I don't know. I don't know him well enough, and I don't know the Freedom Front Plus at all. Imagine the intelligence of Corne Mulder and the strength of Gator McKenzie. Like to me, that would be the ideal leader. So sorry if that's a trick answer to your question, but that's just how I feel. So if I had to vote for anyone as a person, Corne Mulder, but I'm hoping that he has the strength of Gator McKenzie, and if not, he's able to get it. But I just don't know Dr. Corne Mulder well enough. So maybe he does have all the elements that you talk about. But for now, definitely Corne Mulder is by far the best political leader we have in this country, by far. Excuse me. Do I think oh, okay, here we start. Do you think that Google IDs guys, we can't keep the lights on. Joburg doesn't have water, no roads. We can't do the basic shit, right? Don't worry about digital IDs in South Africa. It's just not happening. People are saying, "Oh, Home Affairs, you can go to the bank to get your ID." Yes, because you can't go to Home Affairs and get your ID. That's why they're making the banks do it, right? They're privatizing the production of IDs and passport to banks because the banks can do it. Don't worry about digital IDs in South Africa. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen for now. And the DA might want it or not. I don't actually care what the DA wants or not. Don't worry about digital IDs in Africa. Let's solve real issues. Let's solve real issues. Anyway, SADF standards, old school. Apparently, the SADF standards of the 70s and the 80s were like exceptional, world class. I don't see why that wouldn't be the case. So, yeah, make your armies, as we were mentioning before, like just make your armies like proper good. I don't know why this should be a controversial thing. I really don't understand why. So, Jose is saying that apparently Nazi Petro, who died in Paris over whenever this week, was having a meeting with the KGB. I don't know about that. I don't think, right? So there's a lot of rumors about 1931. Was he killed or not? Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. The French are saying it's 50-50. They don't actually know. There was no drugs, there's no issues in the room. To open the window is tough, but the ordinary man can do it. Why would Mossad or the Russians or anyone want to kill the guy? He was really not important as a person. So if you want to really say that, okay, yeah, he was killed by, the KGB or Mossad or whatever the case might be, why? If it was the president of the country or like a real minister, yeah, maybe, but even then, why? I just don't think South Africa is important to any of these countries to justify this sort of action, assuming he was murdered. And I don't know if that might be the case. I don't think so. We'll wait for the final report on his death and his what do you call it, autopsy results. But I don't know, man. When you live a life like he has, where you're part of the ANC and everything is about treachery and being shot and stealing and all that, maybe like it just kills your soul. And after a while, you think to yourself, oh, better to end it right now. That could be a possibility too. I don't know. I don't know. If you have a cell phone number or email, you already have a digital ID. Correct. 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 The English are doing it because there's lots of money in it, especially for the Tony Blair types. And we all know liberal democracies. At the end of the day, it's all about controlling the people, right? It's about taking away all those things that make civilization great, right? Your heritage, your ethnicity, your religion, your past, your history, your sense of justice. If they can just take that away from you, right, and then put this guise of liberal equality on top of it, so you're all like, your entire soul muted under the guise of equality. Digital ID is the next best thing, and now they can control how much you bank and how much money you have and whether they can fine you for various things, and did you have a social credit score? Are you behaving as liberally as you're supposed to be behaving? That's what digital ID is about. Yeah, we can't even put water in taps. So I'm not concerned about it locally. Like, just focus on getting the ANC to die. Then we can focus on digital IDs. And believe me, if the DA wanted to implement digital IDs and you had and and you were aware of it, they understand pressure like no one else. Like, I mean, they fired me because of pressure, and I did nothing wrong. So if enough people say to the DA, "Put a digital ID and I will blixem you," they won't do it. They're really worried about public perception, the DA. So don't stress so much, really. All right. What is ons nou? Oh, so your chat's on coming up on here, but it's coming up on my other on YouTube itself. Right. John Jarvis, thank you so much for your super chat. And he says, if only the PA and Freedom Front Plus manifestos mapped a plan that could be made. Having said that, can old Afrikaners work with Gaten? I think knowing Gaten as well as I do, which is not very well, I met him twice in my life, right? But Gaten, like, he actually does respect Afrikaners a lot. I think he understands the history. I think he grew up in an Afrikaans area. I think that he is doing businesses, and I know his business partners were Afrikaans, or people that work for him were Afrikaans. In fact, like three of the people that know him best are Afrikaans guys around my age, and they work for the PA. I think Gayton understands Afrikaner quite well, and I think I'm not saying he's trustworthy. I don't know if he's trustworthy. I don't think he's doing very well in Joburg or wherever he's in the coalition on a local level. It's just ANC doing whatever they want, and I think that's not very good for the PA, and I think that's a strategic mistake. But as a person, I think he understands power and he can respect people who want to use it. So I think he's far easier to work with than sort of the DA, right? Or the ANC. Like the DA is all about we must decide what's happening first, and then you must pass the sniff test, and maybe it'll work for you. And the ANC are just like, how much are you going to pay me? Like that's it. I think Gayton is the only one who can actually. Him and Cornet get along very well, as far as I understand. So I'm sure it will work well. Right. Let me see. No, not top chat. I want all chats. Right. Where are we? Are you people and your Cape Independence? Would I move to Cape Town? Nah, not really. I quite like Joburg. Guys, I can move to Cape Town anytime I want to, right? Anytime. My lifestyle will suffer because everything's double the price and the houses are like four times the price. I live in the middle of Joburg on one of the best suburbs. I've got a 2,500 square meter plot of land, got a huge house. I've got everything I want, and I can walk down the street. And I got a high street with coffee shops and people that I know. My kids go to school a kilometer away. My other kid goes to school 3 kilometers away. My family lives about 2 kilometers away. Why would I want to move to Cape Town? Too far away from everyone that I love. No, Joburg's great for me. We do well. We've got, as I've been saying, we're basically off grid. We've been investing heavily into that for the past few years. Got a borehole. I've got a 4x4 car, an old Toyota Land Cruiser thingy. Why would I move to Cape Town? To pay double the rates and worry about Karens saying that I need to license my solar system. No ways. No ways. No ways. Give me the chaos of Joburg every day. I'm very happy here. The weather's fantastic. My pool's heated. I can, Joburg's great. Joburg's for me, but not great for a lot of people. I know that, but for me, it's great. And I can't imagine leaving all this behind to go on half the size property at double the cost and worrying about licensing my solar system. Fuck, not a chance. Not a chance. And things are cheaper here. I agree. Things are much cheaper in Joburg. People write off Joburg too much. The problem with the Western Cape is becoming like a ghetto for white people, if you excuse my language. And the white libs are the worst people in the world. Not everyone of you who live in Cape Town are white libs. Don't get me wrong, but there was a famous post on X that says, "Don't be so racist that you forget that the white lib is the worst person in the world." And I've really taken that to heart. Cape Town's full of those people. So yeah, not a chance. This is an excellent question. Are there some things in your experience as a civil servant that showed you things that you didn't know before? Yes. Many things. Many things. Number one, what let me just say the goal in government doesn't matter. People only care about the process, right? And the process is bullshit. And I'm very goal oriented. I want to solve the problem. And they're like, no, no, but this is how you solve the problem. And it takes 5 years to solve the problem. So that's one thing. It's endemic to any bureaucracy in the world. Nothing endemic to us. Number two, the civil service, the people in it are actually very nice. Like, they were properly nice people. Like, they treated me with respect, I treated them with respect. They called me Cosmin, Chief of Staff of the Minister, which is a prestigious title. Um, Very polite, very good people, very nice people. I got along extremely well with them. Number 3, the departments are just too big. So when we walked into the Department of Agriculture the first day, there's like 7,000 employees over across the whole country, and there's about 3,000 in that building. You don't know who these people are, right? You get emails or you get calls from this one. Oh, I am the deputy director of the supply chain management of this. I'm like, what? You have no idea how many people there are. And because there are so many people, they all need to do a job. And because they all need to do a job, the goal doesn't matter anymore. So the irony is, after not leaving, after I was fired from government, I actually care far less about the government, if that makes sense. Because I'm surprised they get anything done. It's an expensive exercise in wasting time. That's what the government is. So I'm less concerned going forward about what the DA's policies are, or what the Joburg or whatever the ANZ's policies are for the country and how they can do it. I just don't see the people there who are ruthless enough to do it in a material way. So I'm actually more relaxed about living here now that I've been in the civil service because I've seen it up front. And to change that around, to make that efficient, you have to fire half the people and you need like a real meritocracy. And I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime. So that's the big lesson I learned from being in government, that they're actually not as powerful as we think they are. And I think that's nice. There you go. As a Cape Town local, I can confirm there are a lot of white libs. I'll never forget the first time I saw a white couple wearing the Gays for Gaza t-shirts. Exactly, exactly. Whereas here in Joburg, I got two gay friends, um, and they are more right wing than I am. Like really, like horrifically right wing in a good way. I like them. I'm fond of them. Right. What is this now? Engage with your audience. Oh no. Okay, I'm not going to do that. The question below me is what's called a non sequitur because it's communism. You can't design power, right? Through you can't design leadership through a PowerPoint presentation. And anyone who does that is a communist. You know, the communists have the centralized economy, and everyone will work at these wages and in these industries, etc. It's all bullshit, right? You can't get a blank piece of paper and assume that you can run the world with it, let alone a state. So what I would prefer is to have consequences for misdeeds or consequences for crime, right? I think that's the biggest problem that we face here. It's not big. South Africa is not violent because there's something genetically wrong with South Africans. South Africa is violent because there's no consequences for being violent. Like that's the thing. If there are consequences for being a savage or for being a criminal or for kidnapping or raping or murdering people, if there's a consequence to that, i.e., you get shot in the head and your parents pay for the bullet afterwards, those sort of things will die out. So the only thing I will have on a piece of paper if I was a dictator is just write consequences and post that on every single civil servant's whatever post a note on his computer. So if you don't perform, there are consequences, and the consequences are nice. Human beings are easy, simple people, simple creatures. We understand incentives. If you get punished for not doing something, you probably won't be doing that thing. So yes. Anyway. Oh, this is a great one. Left South Africa in 1998 and been in Canada since. Oh, okay, and USA. Okay, Canada's terrible. I went to Vancouver and I go to Ontario or Toronto. I can't remember. Terrible place. Canada's so shit. I don't know why people live there. It's awful. So if you still live in Canada, come back to South Africa. If you live in the USA, though, I mean that's very different. The USA is so big and so diverse in terms of geography. You can literally live like a beach bum or a mountain hermit or a farmer in Iowa or I don't know, a financier in New York City. So if you live in America, I don't know if you'll be much happier in South Africa, but it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I like living here. I really do. Excuse me. There are far fewer people here today, only 68. Last time there was 250. So, you see, this is what happens when I give you what you want. People don't care. People don't care anymore. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Right, let's see which other questions there are that, I can answer. So it's funny, in the streaming software, it picks up only a few chats, but in YouTube, there are a lot more. Alright. We need to fix our country, but the main thing we need to focus on is education. No, I actually disagree. Right, I actually disagree, and this is a an important caveat for me. Right, people keep saying we need to fix education. Which education system in the world that is publicly funded is actually very good? Very few. Okay, maybe there's a few odd, like Singapore or whatever, Japan, but we're not Japanese, right? We're not Singaporeans. We don't live in Dubai, right? So I think education in Africa is shit because people can't read and write. But what they can read and write, the rest doesn't matter that much. What we have in South Africa is not an education problem. What we have in South Africa is, and this is going to sound very bad, we have a cultural aversion to being educated problem. People don't think it's important. And there's very little you can do to change that culture unless it is punishing people who don't participate in it. Right. So to fix education, I would destroy the Department of Education completely in this country. And that costs us 250 billion rand a year. You destroy that. You take that 250 billion, you just distribute amongst however many kids go in the public schools. You say, here you go, here's 30,000 rand for your education. You can go to any school in the country, and this is a voucher for you. And that solves education. Simple as that. But until parents and children and cultures think that education is vitally important, you can put money into it as much as possible. But if people don't give a shit, they won't give a shit at all. We have a sort of a lack of parental responsibility problem in this country, right? That affects some communities far more than others. So making the schools better, I don't think is going to necessarily change that for the better. We have a lot of cultural issues in this country that are sort of antagonistic to progress or economic growth or whatever the case might be. So to me, it's like, listen, no child gets left behind. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you should be educated. The government should fund education through a voucher for people and let those kids go to any private school that accepts those vouchers in those areas. But that's the best we can hope for at this moment until there's a shift in people's understanding of why education is so important. And I don't think school education is the education we need for most people. But that's another question entirely. And I haven't really thought about it that deeply. So I'm not going to talk. I'm going to talk crap if I speak more on it. Hello, fellow Kaepernick fans. It's very weird that people think that. It's really weird to have fans. I was walking I was in my coffee shop the other day, and some person came up to me and was like, "I love your show. I love everything you do." And it's still strange. It's also I just do this because I like it. It's like I'm not trying to. Well, I was trying to change the world early in my life when I was a bit younger and a bit more stupid. But now it's just fun to speak to people. Like you find people on this live stream that people are like, "Oh, this is so great," and you changed my life. Like, did I? Wasn't my intention. Frederick has some very kind words. Baie dankie, meneer Conradi. Feeling makes you feel much you see, even like this, it makes you feel much better hearing someone talk sense. I'm just talking normally. Like I don't do my research. I'm not trying to act like I'm some high class intellectual that you should, buy my book that doesn't exist. But I'm just talking to you because I like talking to you. If you find that useful, I'm very glad. And it's strange to me sometimes that I can just say things that I am thinking about, and people do find it very interesting and makes their lives better. Like, I'm grateful for that, but it's not, if I can just be so blunt, it's not the point of these live streams. Like, I don't wanna be a cult leader or anything like that. I want you to pay me money just because I talk to you, but I just like doing it. So, yeah, but thank you. It's a very kind message. I do appreciate it. Let's see. So, Star Chaser says Namibia and Zambia are doing much better than South Africa. They learned its lesson to leave the whites alone. I don't think any country in Africa yet has learned that lesson properly. Botswana has, but there's so few. I mean, how many white people are there in Botswana? Like five, maybe? Maybe. Namibia, they're sort of ANC light. They're really trying to do BEE and expropriation, but there's 2 million people in the whole country. Like, they can't get the EFF went there and sort of died out in a year because there's just not enough people to get aggravated, like, that are aggrieved. Kenya is doing well. I think Kenya's gonna go far, and, I really do think this age of decolonization, where we kick out minorities and all that, I think that's coming to an end. I really think America's gonna take a big step forward in establishing power in Africa that isn't based on solving AIDS and shit like that. They're gonna have military bases, they're going to have, you know, American companies come to Africa. They do understand that they've been left out of Africa for a very long time, especially since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And under Trump, they're going to recognize Somaliland, which is interesting for a variety of reasons, which we can talk about later. Basically, they can control part of the Suez Canal through Somaliland. And as for the rest, I think sub-Saharan Africa is going to find out that it's much better to be on friendly terms with America while still being friendly with Russia and China. You can do all of that going forward. You don't have to pick a side due to ideological, historical reasons, right? The only people who don't understand that are the ANC, because they're too stupid to understand anything. But when Trump put tariffs on Africa, the first country that said, "Oh, we accede to everything Trump wants, zero tariffs," was Zimbabwe, of all places. Zimbabwe, but the first country in Africa to say, "We accept Trump's deal, no tariffs for anything going in and out of Zim." Solved. We haven't even anyway, we haven't even made that decision. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit too optimistic about Africa, but I'm very optimistic about Africa going forward in the next 150 years. I think it could be the next Asia. I have zero doubts about that. So actually, I've been fact checked. There are 60 to 70,000 whites in Botswana. I didn't know that. Well, that's good to know. I actually saw for my sins on Instagram um, a British family. I think they were like sort of middle class British people. They moved to Zimbabwe, and they're white, right? White, like lily white, with 3 kids. Live on a farm in Zimbabwe, and they just like sort of Instagram their life there. So that's a weird choice. The people going back to Zim. I mean, I know a friend of mine who goes to Zim fairly often. He has a few business interests there. He says it's actually better than South Africa in many ways. It's safer. The police come. Any agitation, please just shambok the guy and get over and done with. He actually quite likes Zimbabwe, but I haven't been in so many years, so I don't know what it looks like now. But yeah, anyway, I think sub-Saharan Africa is learning quite soon. You don't have to be retarded with these things. You can have the best of both worlds. You can have China's technology, Russia's oil, America's trade, all in one go, right? Which is exactly what every single African country should be doing. Don't choose a side, just pick the side that best benefits your country and your citizens. Unfortunately, even South Africa is finding out. South Africa is still finding that out. So, yeah, what can we say? Philip Ochanet, how's it to you too? Oh, there you go. Zimbabwe is a wonderful place if you've got a British pension. I can imagine that if you are earning £2,000, 3,000 a month, which I assume is the average pension, you go to Zim, you have all the benefits of living in Africa, with none of the downsides of living in South Africa. It's much more safe, much more peaceful. I don't know if you can get Amazon and shit there or Netflix. Maybe you can. I don't know. Even though those aren't really important. But I can imagine as a pensioner, you've been living in Bristol, your whole bloody life talking to shit English people about the pension reform, and then at the age of 65, you're like, you know what? I want to get out of England because it's a shithole. Let's move to Zimbabwe where I'm more free. That actually is a good equation in my mind. More people should do it. Don't go to Spain or other crap countries like that. Come to Africa, like build something, buy a little farm, do stuff. I like it. I would think that's a good idea. Arno, goedemiddag meneer. Thank you for joining us. There's now 88 of you on the live stream. Excellent. Let's see, where are we going? I don't think I missed anything on the slide because I don't know if the comments in the streaming software are replicated in the comment on YouTube, so I'm switching between the two. Hello, hello, sir or lady. I apologize if you are a lady, but welcome, welcome. Mm, your UK pension will be frozen if you move to Zim. Fucking English. You're like, oh, what a shit country. England is such a shit country. Really, you work your whole life for a pension and now you can't use it. Uh, anyway, Marlo, hello and welcome back. So Marlo, I know personally, he's a very, very important medical. Anyway, I'm not going to dox him, but he does important work. And he has patients who travel from Zim for treatment in South Africa, but they love living in Zimbabwe. I should actually go back. Maybe I should go to Harare and Bulawayo and a few other areas and make a vlog um, one of these days when I have the time, which ironically I do for the first time in my life. Anyway, anyway, right. I'm trying to figure out how to bring up stuff on here because live, live. Sorry, excuse me. No, I don't want that. I want to up. No, I don't want to upload media. Share. That's what I'm looking for. Share screen. Yes. Allow. Share. Hey, there we go. So now you can actually see what I'm looking at. That's brilliant. Because we're talking about Zimbabwe, so I want to show you this story, which I think is such a great story. So Callum works for who does he work for? Sargon of Akkad, and he had this story about Zimbabwe. So he went there a few months ago to make a documentary on it. And there's just something that's so interesting here. He talks about, in Zimbabwe, he told a story from a former white farmer, very educated employee, ran the farm's admin day to day, but believed in witchcraft. One day he was possessed by a demon. He demanded the white farmer call the witch doctor, and the farmer explained, says, "Well, you have to respect it." So the witch doctor came in and basically like stabbed him to death. Right? He died of blood loss that day, and his wife felt no ill will against the doctor, didn't even complain, and life just went on. Like this is the